Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 16 of the 20s Leadership Podcast. Now, today's episode I'm really excited to talk about is the aspect and element of being positive. Now, positivity gets a bad rap because it's deemed as wishy-washy, it's deemed as a weakness, it's deemed as something that not strong people have. It's much easier to be viewed, it's not easier, it's definitely viewed as being stronger if you are negative. If you think of a typical boss that is, hard with their decisions and intimidating, there's not that much positivity surrounding them. But when someone is overly positive, that's almost latched on to potentially within the workplace as someone being too optimistic. Now, I'm a believer in balance a lot of the time, and I think that's something that in this particular situation might be worth considering. For example, being positive is not directly about the feeling it makes on other people. We'll get on to that, but initially, being positive is a selfish thing. It's about making yourself feel better. One of the simplest things you can do to be more positive is to smile. Now, you might have just tried it, and instantly the feeling that you get is you're already feeling better from it. Now, this is just a start because, you're being selfish. You're making yourself feel better through this. And it's so important that we regularly do this because, as, you know, something that we all go through these days where, or sometimes these weeks where we don't feel that positive, and we need to take it back to basics. We need to bring it back to these basic rules that will help us maintain and roll over when we need that little boost. We're going to have good weeks as well. We don't need this positivity during then as much. But it's when we're maybe a bit down or we're a wee bit overwhelmed with situations and circumstances that we need to be more positive. Now, obviously, this smiling is a good thing, but now if we think and we go on or in a wee bit deeper, every morning when I used to work at the college, I used to try and be the positive person in the room first thing in the morning. It's more difficult to be the positive person in the room in the morning. Let me paint a picture for you right now of how a normal workplace would usually look first thing in the morning. You would walk in, you would have your X number of colleagues in front of you or within the office, etc. It's first thing in the morning, nobody likes getting up early, everybody's got loads of work to do. Either they've got a big day ahead of them where they're having to plan and mentally prepare themselves for, or they're reacting to things that they've come to at work. Now, I can't emphasize this enough. Being the positive person in the room, yes, we go back to being selfish because it does make us feel good. But at the same time, let's think of the impact that we can have on others and the next knock-on effect of how are they going to perceive you? What is the reputation and character that you are building from being this person? Now, from this, you're going to be that person that is the strong person in the morning, that people ultimately end up relying slightly on you because you're going to be that one that gives them that wee boost first thing in the morning. Now, I know that a lot of this is about self-leadership, as it is. However, self-leadership is also an element of how you make others feel, the impact that you have on others. Because, like we've talked about, that can then make you feel better. That then improves you. So if there's one thing that I would like you to take away from this episode, it is be the positive person in the morning. Nobody can take that away from you. There will be the people that want to drag you down. There will be the people that want you to stay in your place and stay in line when it comes to being this positive individual. However, you need to do this for you. And you need to do this so that you're remembered by others how you want them to remember you by. You're in control of that. Nobody else. If you stay in line, nobody's going to remember you. And ultimately, the environment that exists and will continue is one that you're going to end up being consumed by. Do you want to be consumed by an environment that is negative, that you maybe could have done something to improve? This is just a simple example, but this can happen at any point in the day. Another example from my own personal experience, and you can tailor this and apply it as much as you like. Whenever I could sense the mood in the classroom, walking in, sensing, the atmosphere within the room. What was the mood like? Was everybody there motivated, or was everybody there a bit down? And it was ultimately my responsibility as the teacher of that group and the leader of that group to get the best out of them. If it was a Monday morning, sometimes I would ask the group to spend 5 minutes chatting to the people in the class about what they did at the weekend. And an even more effective one was on a Thursday when people's motivation wasn't maybe quite there, or it was a Friday night. They just wanted it to be the weekend. So I got them chatting about the weekend. I got them to talk in the class about what they were up to that weekend. And yes, albeit you might say that was distracting. You might say that it lacked focus. However, that 5 minutes of allowing them to talk positively about the things that they had done or they were going to do, that they were looking forward to, that they were happy about, I ultimately influenced that group and that atmosphere, environment and mood to be better. And these simple little acts are things that you can do on a daily basis, whether that's at work, whether that's at home, whether that's with your friends. You can be in control of how you make others feel in a positive way. And that isn't a weakness. That is something that, again, you'll be remembered by. And think of how good it will make you feel when it comes to doing this on a daily basis. Think of the process of the day that you go through from when you wake up to when you go to bed and everything in between that. Do you view all these things positively? There was a great example earlier of Anna when she has done a number of different things today since work that have pushed her out of her comfort zone. And this is where you have a choice to be positive about that. You are improving from that. You are becoming a better person, a better version of yourself by doing that. But you could also, and much more easily, view that as I'm tired, I'm busy, why do I not have any time for myself, etc., etc. And albeit these thoughts are hard to control, it's about perspective and it's about choosing to be positive rather than forcing it. If you choose, it'll become a behaviour, it'll become a habit, And it's important to realize, to round off, that the people you spend time with are the ones that will ultimately help you maintain this. If you're being the positive person and there's certain people becoming positive because of that, you need to surround yourself with them. These are the people that will get the best out of you. Of course, there's going to be people that don't respond to your positivity, but they're missing out. It's their loss. And I guess that kind of wraps up this episode. So I just wanted to talk about this importance of choosing to be positive and the overall impact that that can have on our day, can have on our week, and that rolling momentum that it can kind of have going forward. Thanks for listening. And the plan going forward with one of these longer episodes per week is to have conversations. I want to have leadership conversations. Might sound selfish, but it's something that I find and gain a lot of value out of. I obviously love talking about all these self-leadership topics. However, the perspective that can be given from so many different interesting people with much more different experience to myself, but is still applicable to this self-leadership aspect, is definitely something I want to explore more. So if you want to have a leadership conversation similar to one we had with Jack Burnett earlier in the podcasts, reach out. I'm more than happy to have that discussion. I would love to have that discussion more so. So if that's something you're interested in, please reach out. And ultimately, what this podcast is all about is becoming a better version of you. So if you spent the last sort of 10 minutes listening to this, you're improving. And day in, day out, that's something that will create you who you want to be. So well done for listening, and I hope that we can continue to build this best version of yourself. Catch you soon.